Hey everybody, this is that awkward period where I just started up the stream and I'm still adjusting my phone. I'm gonna wait for a few people to start joining in. Hello, you early adopters, people who are joining in right away. It's great to see you. Does the quality look a little better? I just got a new phone. I just got one of the Pixel 2s. I'm really excited about this phone, but the camera on it is amazing. But this is the rear-facing camera, so as far as I can tell, it looks pretty good. I hope the sound quality and everything is good. Hey, hello from Germany, Argentina. Hello, you guys. Hello from California. And wow, everybody is just starting to stream in. That's great. I'm glad you guys are here to join me, and I really want to get into like all of those frequently asked questions I've been getting about the Weekend Woodworker course, but let me wait just 1 or 2 minutes just for more people to join in, because I want to hit those off, the most common questions right away, so that anybody who's watching this in the replay will can get the information they need, and then I guess leave me when I get boring. I don't know. Anyways, about my course, thank you all who have been signing up. It's just been amazing. It's been a whirlwind week with this course launching, and it's actually been a whirlwind 4 or 5 months now. I think I started kind of conceiving of this course back in the spring, started really putting it together in probably June, I guess it was. So I mean, it's just been a ton of work. First of all, before I get started, I want to let everybody know that my business manager, Catherine, is going to be in the chat room, so she'll be moderating the chat over there. And what she's going to be doing also is taking your questions, and any questions you have about the Weekend Woodworker course, she's going to relay those to me, because it's kind of hard for me to follow along in this chat. So she's going to relay those to me, and I'll answer those after I get through my frequently asked questions that I've been compiling here. So I also want to thank everybody involved in my support team who's been helping me with this course. It's been amazing. I want to thank Till, Edward, Catherine, Vanessa. There's so many people really to thank helping, and just the tech support that goes along with this is amazing, how quickly they're answering questions from people and being so responsive. I really appreciate that. But anyways, let's get on to the course and start answering your questions. By the way, it's a beautiful day here. I hope it's nice where you are. We're still having a lot of summery kind of weather here. Number one question I've been getting. Have you stopped doing YouTube videos now? And yeah, that's it. No more. I'm done after 10 years. No, of course not. I'll keep doing. There's a loud truck driving by. I hope that's. Let me go. I've been having a lot of loud birds lately, but that was the garbage truck. No, of course I'm going to keep doing the YouTube videos. It's just I had to cut back a lot on those this summer while I was preparing for this course and trying to get this all together. The course is really kind of a return, though, to my YouTube roots. When I first started YouTube, you probably have seen my chessboard that I made, and the whole point of that was I wanted to document every step of the project and what I was making, and it was as much for me as anybody else. I didn't know if anybody would actually watch that video or not, so I wanted to make sure that I documented every part of it, so if I ever wanted to go back and remember how I built that project, I would be able to. And so as YouTube grew, of course, everybody had to start making shorter videos and showing less, just because retention and audience time watching your videos is really important there. And so with this course, and one of the comments that I get a lot is, I wish you would go into more detail on what it is you're doing there, because a lot of times I have to show something pretty quickly. So with this course, I'm able to do long format videos, and you'll get each weekend is what it is. There's like Saturday and Sunday, so every project you can make in 2 days. And each video is, well, it varies depending on how long it takes me, but they can be 30 minutes, they might be a little longer, a little shorter than that. So it's like just a ton of detail. I mean, I'm seriously showing every step of the projects and how to make these things. And it's really fun for me to do that. And because it reminds me of what's important on projects, because there's so many times when I do something in my videos and I just kind of take it for granted. Yeah, everybody's done this. They know how to use this tool and what to do with it. And this time I get to step back and remember what it was like to just be starting out and just kind of take everything slow enough. But I'm still keeping the videos paced at a reasonable rate so that they're interesting and that you won't nod off, I promise you. I still have the same music. I still have, you'll be happy to know Princess Meow Meow's theme is still in the show. Everybody likes Princess Meow Meow's theme. And she might actually show up in a couple of those videos. I can't remember if she's in them or not. And of course I've got Per Almered to thank for all of his great music that he's recorded for the show. It's really amazing. So yeah, but anyways, I really digressed from that question, didn't I? The question, have I stopped doing YouTube videos? Of course not. I'll be returning to a more regular schedule once this launch is rolling and moving along, and I have more time to get back to that. Second question, and this is kind of the one that really kind of bothered me a lot when I started hearing this a lot, is why didn't I mention it would cost something earlier on? And this is, well, I don't know, it was just sort of I assumed everybody would know this would be a paid course. I probably maybe could have relayed that information a little bit earlier, but I also wanted to try to let everybody know how much value you were going to receive in this course, and then do the big reveal on one day, and everybody would say, "Wow, I'm so excited about this," and for the most part, the response has been great, and it is a really good value. So if you don't know, the course is $147. That is over, you get 6 projects. Actually, there's 7 because there's the bonus workbench project. I'm going to show you some of these here in a second. And there's just tons of information on there. And I think it's a really good value because there's guys out there who are charging like $70, $100 for a set of plans. Sometimes there's some guys who charge for maybe $50 for a set of plans. There's no video to go along with it. Then there's other woodworking courses that you can get where there's also per project. In this course, I think for $147 for 7 projects, that's 14 long videos. I think it's a great deal. So anyways, yeah, I probably should have revealed the price earlier maybe, but I'm not really sure. I don't know if that would have helped any or not, but I think it's a reasonable price. And yeah, and as far as why I'm charging for that, well, I just spent the last 4 or 5 months working on this thing, and not being able to produce my YouTube videos was a huge hit also, and I wasn't able to do as many sponsored spots as I normally could. So, this is what I do for a living. And of course, just the whole nature of YouTube and the whole landscape has changed so much with all the adpocalypse and sponsors bailing from YouTube, and so this kind of makes sense to do it this way. So anyways, that was the why didn't I mention it would cost something earlier. Well, there you go. It does cost something. And let's see. By the way, I really appreciate all of you who on my YouTube channel have already signed up for the course, who were saying, that you've already seen it, what's on there, and think it's a great value. Thank you for that. And I'm sure if you sign up for the course, you'll come back to maybe this video and leave a comment about that too. Okay, what projects are going to be in the course? That was really one of the biggest questions there. And yeah, that was also maybe another. I'm new to this, guys. You're gonna have to work with me on this. I thought it would be fun to like have the projects be just a real mystery. You know, what's going to be in this course, and a lot of people though they want to see what exactly those projects are going to be. So, and I thought I would release those every week as a surprise. But so many of you have asked, I thought I would go through some of those projects. I don't have them all here with me. I can talk about it. I can show you some of them. In fact, let me take the camera off. We'll go mobile since this is YouTube mobile. Okay. I don't want to drop my new Pixel 2. Okay, here we go. I'm going to switch this around. Zoink. Okay, here we are in my shop. So the very first, this is the bonus project, and you've probably already seen that. This is not one of the 6 weeks, but I figured everybody needs a workbench, and if you're starting from ground zero, you've never built anything in your life, a workbench would be really handy. So this is what we're calling the BMW, the Basic Mobile Workbench. And it's really the same style that all of my workbenches are based on. It's on casters, so you can move it around easily in and out of a shop or a small space. And I've got some storage down. I've already actually modified this since the videos that I shot about this, because I had another, you can see right here, I had shelf right here, but I've taken that out because I just realized that miter saw fits perfectly down in there. So I don't know, it's like anything else. You just change it around to your needs and modify it as it seems fit. But it's a good starter project, and that is a project that you can build with no experience. You don't need a workbench to build that. That would be kind of dumb. I built it on the tailgate of my truck as kind of a workbench. And the only thing you'll need to build that is a miter saw. This is probably getting you dizzy, I'm sure. One of the other things about the course that I wanted to mention is that it's progressive. So what I'm doing is I'm starting you out from knowing nothing about woodworking and starting out with using just a miter saw. So the first 2 projects are only miter saw projects, and each project builds on the previous one. So the first project I don't have with me. It's the California Casual patio table. I'll put a link. There's a link in the description where you can see pictures of these. I don't have it because we gave those to Wyatt. He moved into an apartment. So they're down in Santa Cruz, and he's using them as end tables in his apartment. But that's going to be the very first project, the California Casual patio table. And then the second project is this bench. You might have seen this in my videos too, maybe in the background. This is just a little garden bench. I'm calling this the Harmony Garden Bench, just because of the way this is built is kind of like trying to keep it harmonious with its lines. All of the boards run in the same direction on this, so it's all moving this way. So basically it's to look as though you've done some, I don't know, almost mortise and tenon kind of joints, even though they're not. They're kind of faux, but these are all just boards running along the side there. It's super sturdy and really easy to build, again, with just a miter saw. So that's what I used, was that Ryobi miter saw. And then third project I brought out here. Now this is the only small project of the course. This is just a paper tray. I've got it in 2 different sizes plans. One, this is the letter size, and then the other one is for A4 size for European, desks and paper. And those are all in metric. And so what I've done, this is the first, this is why this is a small project, is this is the first table saw project. So what I've done here is I've covered the basics of using a table saw in this one project. You've got beveled edges here, you've got rabbet joints, and then I've added some options on it, like here, these are brass pins in the sides. I think it was kind of a cool addition. And then I did a little fun thing here. This is a little paperweight. I have no idea if people really need paperweights anymore, but I thought it looked kind of cool. So I wanted to show you how to do a texturing effect on wood. And so that's what that is. And I put my initials on there because I wasn't creative enough to think of somebody else's initials, I guess. So that will be week 3. I'm going to flip this back around. And, oh, here we are. And let me put it back on my stand here. The 4th week, the rest of them, I'm going to kind of sort of keep them a mystery. I can show you this is the 4th week is the Sonoma Contemporary Coffee Table. And I brought these plans down here because I wanted to also show you. That's what it looks like. It's got like a floating top. Believe it or not, these are all projects that beginners can make. And what I wanted to do was design these in such a way that they don't look like beginner projects, that they look cool. And so each project has its own special features to it, and such as that floating top there. Because I think most beginning projects that you run across on the internet kind of look dorky. You know, they look like beginning projects, and I didn't want these to look that way because I don't think woodworking is all that complicated, and there's no reason why you can't just jump right into it. So this is like 4th week. You can make, again, all these projects you can make in 2 days on a weekend, and I'm not including, depending on what type of finish you choose, it may take you, you know, weekend or weekday nights if you want to add a bunch of layers of finish or something. But I'm going to show you some easier finishes too that you can do quickly. But I want to show you the plans also. So this is, I printed out this set of plans. What I've done is tried to, I'm not very good at doing this, tried to account for every single connection, every single screw that you'll need in that, and as well as complete cut lists so you'll know exactly what kind of lumber you need and how much of it. And all of the plans are also in metric for everybody else outside of the US. The last 2 projects of the course, I gotta still keep a little mystery, right? I'm gonna have a really cool bookcase and a curio cabinet. And I think you're really gonna like those. And once you start building these projects, you're gonna kind of be amazed that you can actually build those projects too. So again, the course is structured in such a way that I'm going to take you through the basics of woodworking. And if you're already a woodworker, you're probably gonna also pick up some new tips because I'm throwing in other things that I happen to think of at the time and options. So like for the table saw or for the miter saw, you know, I'll start you out with crosscuts, learn how to make a good crosscut, how to make miters, how to do bevels, and then we'll go to the table saw. You can make bevels on the table saw. What's the difference between, you know, resawing and ripping lumber, and how to do those, how to do them safely. So it's just all of this stuff combining, and I feel like I'm just doing more of a sales pitch for this course when I'm really not trying to do a sales pitch here. I'm really just wanting to answer your questions. But I am excited about this course because it's just taken so much of my time and energy over these past few months. Okay, let me go on to more of your frequently asked questions. What projects will be in the course? Okay, so I think we just about covered all of that. And also, did I mention? I think I did mention, there's a link down below where you can click and see pictures of those projects too. And actually, if you're on the email list, you'll probably get an email about that too. Okay, what tools do I need for the course? That's a good question, and it's probably for people who are just now finding out about the course. They didn't know that, like, for the past month or so, I've been telling you all about my tool guide and the tools that I am going to be using in the course. And one of the things I wanted to really do right was to make it so that this course, you know upfront all the tools you're going to use, and all the tools that I'm going to use are on that list. So I'm not going to, for instance, I'm using that rigid table saw because that's on my list as an affordable saw, so I'm not going to be using my bigger table saw. I still have that saw, by the way, so I've got 2 saws now. I had originally I was going to try to use that little Ryobi saw I'm pointing down here, like you can see it on the floor there, but that saw was just no good, so that's why I switched to the rigid, which is a great saw. Anyways, to get back to the question, all of the tools you will need are on that list. The list tells you how you can buy those tools new for under $1,000, at least here in the US. It's just a guideline. Those are tools that I think work really well. They're affordable, and it's a good starter point of $1,000 is pretty dirt cheap for starting a workshop with brand new tools. But if you can find used tools, do Craigslist, that sort of thing. This beginning course, and I hopefully if this course is successful, I'll add more on eventually, but in this beginning course, I won't be using a router, I won't be using a bandsaw, drill press, nothing kind of out of the ordinary. I'm really trying to keep this to garage beginning woodworkers. So the main tool you're going to need is the table saw and miter saw, and then the rest of them I've thrown in are like a random orbit sander. I think is it's indispensable, really. I mean, unless you really want to sand things by hand, if you're that kind of a person, I suppose. So again, take a look at that tool list if you're not sure, and you can just check everything off. Do I have all this stuff? Good, I'm good to go. Or do you need to get a couple of things? You can do that, but just rest assured, I'm not going to spring something on you. I'm not going to like do something on my band saw in this course when it's not on my list, or have to use the router. But I do realize after doing this course how valuable a router is, and I will probably be using it in the next course that I do. No pocket screws in this course. Some of you will be happy, some of you will be sad to hear that there's no pocket screws in this course. By the way, did you see how many pocket screws I used in my coffin? I think you're supposed to use coffin nails, right? I use the coffin Craig pocket screws. Some people get cranky about those. Okay, let's go on to more questions here. Okay, how much am I going to have to spend on material? This is a good question. How much am I going to have to spend on materials total for the whole course? Well, I'm not really sure. Oh shoot, I had actually a receipt out here I wanted to show you, but I'm not sure how much the whole course would cost, but I'm going to say that each project you should be able to make with pine boards and plywood for around $100. If you want to get fancy and buy some oak or walnut and whatever, you know, go crazy, but that's going to cost you a lot more. Like this little tray I made out of oak just because it's so small, it doesn't really cost much. This is kind of a good project to really get your skills up to snuff on some nice wood with kind of low risk, so it's not going to cost you a lot. But so it would be reasonable for me to say you can build each project for $100. And sometimes you just have to be flexible. I went to Home Depot. I got these boards for a different project, and I needed 8-foot boards. Didn't have them, so I just got the 6-footers instead. And in the plans, all of my boards are based on 8-foot lengths. So, but I think the plans are pretty helpful. You should be able to kind of calculate it that way. I mean, woodwork isn't free, but I'm trying to keep it as inexpensive as possible. Let's see. Oh, and also on that tool list, I'm kind of being a little scatterbrained here. With that tool list, if you download the tool list, weekendwoodworker.com/tool-guide, link down below, you'll see that there's a note on there that doesn't include things like sandpaper and glue. Trying to think of anything else. I don't know. Some of those like sundries, I guess, that you just have to replace whenever. So I don't know. You'll have to do the math on that part of it. Okay, next question. Please explain more about the Facebook group. Yes, we have a Facebook group. When you join, if you sign up for the Weekend Woodworker course, there's an add-on if you want called Shop Talk. And what that is it's a private Facebook group that is mostly just a support group, so we can help each other out. You can show off your projects. You could talk about what stage you are in working on your project, and I'll be doing some live chats on there to help people out directly. So basically it's like kind of direct access to me, and so it's a much smaller group because with all of the people on the Weekend Woodworker course, it's really hard for me to answer actual individual questions about where a particular screw goes or something. So in the Facebook group, we'll be able to kind of help each other out and work through the course. And so you guys are kind of like charter members of that if you join in. It's been really cool to see the people already on there, and I'm trying to reply to a lot of those today. And if you're already on that group, I'm still working on replying to you right now. This morning has been kind of crazy. So I hope you join and all of these things are, money back guarantee. Don't, if you don't like any of this stuff, you just quit. We'll give you your money back. No big deal. Let's see. This is a good question. I should have probably answered this one earlier. Will the course be available again? Yes, of course. Of course, the course will be available again. The reason why it's limited now and why we're closing it off on Sunday is because we want to be able to, this is the first course, and so I want to make sure that we can really support all of the people in there, see how it goes, see where any of the problems, the bugs are that might crop up, things that I might have forgotten to include in some of the projects and descriptions, whatever. I hope it runs really smoothly, and I think it will because I have this incredible team working on it. So anyways, that's what we want to do, is just keep this to this group. Then in a few weeks, we'll open the course up again, and then it'll just be open permanently, so anybody can join at any time, and you'll be able to see everything on there. And the other question that goes along with that, I don't even know if it's on here. Oh yeah, it's the next question. Do you have to do it on each weekend, or can you work at your own pace? You can totally work at your own pace. Once you buy the course, you get access to everything. It's yours for life. So you can do it each weekend, which I encourage you to do because I think it helps keep you focused and be goal oriented. You can earn badges too. We've got badges, and you can earn a certificate if you make all 6, 7 projects. Get that certificate going there. But no, you can do the course at your own pace. Do it however you like. You may download it and find, oh, wait a second, I've got Christmas coming up or something. I'm going to be crazy. I don't have time. That's, pick it up in January. There's your New Year's resolution for you. You can work on it then. But I think this first session, this first 6-week session is kind of the important one, because that's the one where we're really all going to be helping each other out, and we're all going to be going at the same pace in this. So each project is issued, I guess. That's not the word I'm looking for. Each project is available every Monday is how that works. So that it comes out on Monday, so you get everything, both videos, you get plenty of time to watch them. You get all the plans and project details so that you have the week to go to Home Depot or hardware store to gather up whatever you need for the project. And then on Saturday morning, bam, you can hit it, start building it, and then get through that first video. And then on the Sunday, and then I try to break up those videos so where it seems like a natural place to stop on a Saturday. And then on the Sunday, you'll pick it up again, finish the project, and then literally apply finish to the project, or paint. You can paint everything purple if you like, and then you're done. Except, again, if you wanted to get really fancy with your finishing, you might want to spend some evenings coming out, applying another coat or something, but you know me, I'm not really a fan of that kind of thing. I really like to lacquer things a lot. Lacquer is quacker. Let's see. Do you have to work at your own pace? How much will material? I guess I covered everything on there. So, those were the most common questions that we got when I released the video yesterday. I want to go through the questions that you guys have asked. And I gotta find them here. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about this. Don't you love these awkward pauses in live shows? Okay, here we go. I've got Catherine's questions, and I'll pull these up. And going through these. Okay. And, oh wait, I've got some more questions here too. Wait. I know there was some more. There was. I'm sorry, I skipped the ones here. Wait, they're not here. Because I was thinking, I know there was some more on here. Okay, hang on a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. How about that Raider game last week? You might catch. Hey, it looks like we dropped off, but are we back online now? Back on? Okay, good. You know what it was? It probably dropped off because I was not talking and I was trying to find this thing on here. Anyways, when I copied and pasted this to my sheet, I didn't include these. Anyways, three more questions I wanted to get to because I thought these were kind of important. Seamus wanted to know, would you please explain more of, and it was a comment that I made, I want to teach you how to think like a woodworker, or would you simply say that is more do than think? No, I said I want to teach you how to think like a woodworker in my little promo video there on the website, because I really do think that, thinking in woodworking terms is really more important than learning each individual procedure. In other words, when you start to think like a woodworker, you don't really think about, how do I put this? Each individual procedure, each project is going to be its own thing, as much as you understand the big picture of how things are going to get done, and then you can creatively figure out how to do that. And this is especially important when facing problems. And when you are thinking like a woodworker, there really is no problem that is not correctable. And so if you're not thinking like a woodworker, you're going to follow a set of plans until you cut a board the wrong way, or you do something flipped, which I do all the time. I flip it and cut it the wrong. And then what are you gonna do? You're probably gonna say, I screwed that up, and you're going to throw it away, grab another board, or maybe you have to start the project again. That's not thinking like a woodworker, because every woodworking project has problems. Every single project I make, I've been doing this most of my life. Every single project I make has problems that I face, and it's just learning how to deal with those and thinking, what's a better solution for this problem? How can I correct it? How can I fix it? And it's rare, and most of this I've learned from doing my YouTube show, because I don't have time to do complete do-overs. There's really no do-overs in a short period of time. is just creative ways to fix things in woodworking. And I think that all of that is important. So that's some of what I'm trying to impart in the course, is how to think like a woodworker. So that was a good question. Let's see, here's a question from Michael. I'm a fairly knowledgeable woodworker and have a complete shop with a few expensive toys. Do you think I'd get anything for my money? I know you offer a guarantee and that's wonderful, but before I commit, it would be helpful to know if I would benefit in any way. It's hard for me to say. I really think that there's a lot that experienced woodworkers can gain from my course. Because, and I think I mentioned this earlier, as I'm building the projects, I come across things that I want to mention, and a lot of those apply to people who have been woodworking a long time. So, and all of the projects are customizable, so you can add your own flair to them and learn something along the way. And Takis asks, will the course work in Europe? What's the point in joining a course where 2x4s are considered a commodity when I'm not able to find such wood or find it at a ridiculous price? That's a tough one. Yes, of course it'll work in Europe and all the plans and everything are in metric, but as far as finding lumber and everything, that's a hard one. I don't know what to say. I guess, I assume there's like a Craigslist worldwide, and maybe, you know, if you can find reclaimed lumber, that's one way to do it. But I've heard that again, and especially heard that in a lot of countries, plywood is extremely expensive, and I don't know why. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish lumber was, because I think lumber is expensive here until I hear from other countries. So I'm not really sure. I hope you can join, and if nothing else, if again, the course is open forever, so you can always get the course, and then once you see the projects there, you know, just build them at your own pace. You don't have to go rushing out and buying all of the wood right away. Oh, real quick answer to a question I've been getting over and over on my YouTube videos. This has nothing to do with the Weekend Woodworker. I wanted to address this because I'm getting tired of answering the question. People are asking me if you've lost weight. Are you sick? No, this is me now. I've lost 30 pounds, and this is due to exercise and better diet. Lowering carbs, eating a much healthier diet, getting off the standard American diet. So I think it's funny that a lot of times in America, it's become so rare for people to lose weight and get healthy that people ask you, when you actually do lose weight and get healthy, if there's something wrong with you. So no, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm stronger than I've ever been. In fact, I'm running a half marathon tomorrow. This will be my 6th half marathon this year. Then I've got one more in December. I'm working towards this prize. You can win this special medal if you run 7 throughout this entire year. I set that as a goal on January 1st, New Year's resolution, and I'm one of those people who actually is trying to keep a New Year's resolution. So I'm trying to do 7 of those. So that's it. So hey, if you see anybody commenting on my videos, are you dying? You can leave a comment for them and say, no, he's feeling better and is stronger than he has ever been. Thank you. Okay, let me get to the questions that have just come across here in the feed. All right. Carlitos, are you going to continue with your weekly videos in your channel? I need more projects. I am going to continue with my YouTube show. I don't know if they're going to be weekly, at least not right away while I'm still trying to get the course underway, but have no fear, the weekly or the YouTube videos will be coming back. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing more skills videos too, because people really respond to those more than strictly projects. I'll still be doing projects, but I want to start focusing more on skills videos and videos that don't require a whole lot of tools and prep. I'll still do some step it up once in a while, just for myself, just to do some, but those are videos that really don't perform very well. But, you know, I just think I think it's good to have, I mean, that's really why I started Woodworking for Mere Mortals, is it's good to have an alternative to what's out there as far as people. I mean, I subscribe to so many channels, woodworking channels, but man, almost all of them are really big shops. I mean, these guys have spent a lot of money on saw stops and CNC machines and laser cutters and 3D printers and plasma cutters, and I mean, the list just goes on, and you see these videos, and I don't know about you, but I can't afford all that stuff. I mean, it just seems like there's got to be an alternative for that, for people who want to start building things and don't have all that and don't really want to spend that kind of money and be able to build some cool stuff. I have a fear that seeing all of that over and over again, I mean, it's fun to watch somebody do that, but it also kind of is alienating, because it kind of pushed you away from that. Like, well, that's really cool watching it, but I could never do that stuff. I want everything I do here to be totally doable. I want people to look at what I'm doing and say, God, I could so totally do that myself. That's my philosophy. I'm not sure what this means. Gary said, I am the only one that has to call him Mr. Steve. Am I the only one who has to call him Mr. Steve? Yes, I do. I demand to be called Mr. Let's see. Videos crap heap. Should we get an email after signing up for the course with our ID and initial password? I think once you sign up for the course, you get right into it. But if you have any problems at all, contact team at theweekendwoodworker.com, and somebody from the support team will get back with you on that. They're really good. I'm telling you, this support team is amazing. You send them a question and they're like, because I see all the questions too, and I'm like, oh, I wonder how, boom, there's the answer. And they're just on it. It's really cool to see that. So yeah, contact them if you have any problems, but you should just be able, as soon as you sign up for the course, you just get right into it. Lucas, will the videos be hosted by the current Zen Steve or the yelling Steve from his older videos? I hope not to yell too much, as I don't know, I'm embarrassed by those old videos. I know that we can only live kind of in the present, but I think back in those days of YouTube, everybody was a little bit more, I don't know, had more of a less polished tone to those, I guess. I guess my videos are never really that polished, but you know, I think I've improved since then. DIY Dylan, is this something I could include my kids on? That's a great question. If I paid per person, is it paid per person if me and the kids join from one computer? Yeah, I mean, just join one account and just let them see what you're doing there. That would be cool. But I think it'd be great for kids, older kids. I don't think I would want a toddler working on a table saw or something. But my guess is that most 12, 13-year-olds would be at that age where they can start. It depends upon the kid. And also, of course, your supervision, how much you're helping them out with the projects. My experience with kids in woodworking is, hi Wyatt, if you're watching this, is that kids have such a short attention span that it's best to keep their involvement super limited. And I did some projects a couple of times with a group of kids, like I think it was a Cub Scouts or something. And wow, I mean, I was kind of surprised. And these were maybe 10, 11-year-olds. They were like 20 minutes tops. That was about all they would be interested in the shop. I'm sure there's some exceptions and some kids who are just really into it. But so I found that the best thing to do was pretty much have the project made and let them kind of assemble it. Assembly was kind of more, I think, because it's more Lego-like. You know, it's assembling something is more fun than cutting things. Anyway, there's some tips on kids in woodworking. Manjul wants to know, how long is the course going to last? Again, the first section is, I guess there's two ways to explain this. This first course, this launch, is only open for registration until Sunday, so that we can monitor everybody that's there and support everybody that's going through this, and if there's any bugs, we can iron it out. And then in a few weeks, what we're going to do is open up the course for full time, and then you can join, and any of the projects you can do at your own pace. You don't have to do every weekend, but if you do it every weekend, that would be cool, because then you can work along with the other people. Christopher Brown, Steve, would a course like this be for someone with intermediate skills who wants to brush up on the basics be a good choice? Yeah, I think so. I think just watching another person, how he approaches tools, is always a good idea. And although I'm approaching this entire course with an eye on the total beginner, I always wanted to make sure that there was enough in there for other people who have been doing woodworking along, because I think most people find my channel because they're already probably doing some woodworking, already have some tools. But another thing is, I hope that some people who've already been doing some woodworking, maybe for a few months, maybe for a year or something, I hope I can correct problems that I see them doing from time to time early, so we can get you off on the right track. I don't want, especially with safety stuff, man, I see people do, and coming from me, a guy who when I was really willy-nilly when I started posting my videos, until I realized, oh man, I got to start being more cautious, because people are watching what I'm doing and trying to learn. And so as my channel went on, I became more aware of how much what I do affects other people. So that's why I'm trying to be really cautious with the safety. And now I see other people doing things on YouTube channels. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I would be doing that or not. So hopefully this course will at least get you started on all of the right ways to do things. Steve Factard wants to know, what method of payment do I have? You can, I think any, you can, I think you might be able to use PayPal now too. I think I saw that coming through. At first, I don't know if we had it, but so you can use any credit card to pay for it. And remember, I don't want to be that guy. So if you don't like the course, I got a 30-day guarantee. You'll know by then if it's not right for you. Just let me know, and we'll refund your money. I think for 147 bucks, though, you're gonna really like it. Isaac wants to know, will there be projects added in the future for paid members? I'm not sure. I know I want to do a second course. I'm still just focusing on this one. That's a good question, if how we take existing members, maybe transition them over to a new course. I don't know. I have to just figure out the logistics of that and figure out the best way to play that out. That's all. Catherine, you got any more questions to send me? I think I've caught up on everything here. I'm going to scroll through some of these myself and just kind of see if there's anything I see offhand. Oh, Donald said he didn't see PayPal there. Maybe I'm wrong about PayPal. I'll look into that. Again, contact team at theweekendwoodworker.com. That's the support team, and they'll definitely know the answer to that. I hate scrolling through my phone here because I know it usually jostles it around and like, yeah. Okay. Somebody wants to know if I will finally teach the secrets of spray lacquer. Yes, in fact, I got a really cool tip on this paper tray one that I want to show you. It's in that video. But one of the things about finishing that I'm trying to do in this course is that I'm varying it up. So every project is not finished with lacquer. So there's a variation, because I want to show you that there's a lot of different ways to complete projects with a finish. So I've got paint is an option especially for outdoor projects. I'll be using some spar urethane, some lacquer, Danish oil. So I want to have a good mix in here just to let you have options of what you want to do with your projects. And a lot of that just comes down to how much time you got to spend. I mean, polyurethane, for one, just drives me crazy because it just takes so long to apply, and I hate sanding between coats. And I don't know, finishing to me is just one of those things that I get real impatient with, because I finished the project, it's done. I have completed the project, it's done, looks great. And then I just want to, okay, I'm done. I want to move on. But then, oh wait, I got the whole finishing process to go through. So I definitely give you some quick ways of applying finish throughout the course. Will I do any live videos in the course? I'll be doing live videos answering questions in the Shop Talk Facebook group. And there I'll be able to answer your questions directly, that you have on any of the projects as we're building them. Sailor 5373 says, Steve, will there be any disciplinary action if we don't do things right? When we did things wrong in shop class, we got throttled with a dowel rod. that is one harsh shop class. If you screw up in my course, I'm just gonna ban you for life. No, you gotta remember, there are no mistakes in woodworking. It's like Bob Ross, there's only happy accidents. Is that what he says, right? Something like that. So let's... Greg says, hey Steve, UPS dropped off my grippers today. Does that mean I've achieved maximum mere mortal status? Yeah, I wanted to mention that also about the grippers, because when I built my table saw cart for the rigid table saw in a shot, I opened up the drawer. I thought it would be funny just to show that the whole thing was just filled with grippers in there. Oh my God, so many people commented on that. Why do you need so many grippers? Microjig has been a sponsor of Woodworking for Mere Mortals for so long, and they always send me those. So I've got a lot of grippers around, and I just like to grab them and use having a lot of it, I get real spoiled with it. It's like my one luxury is all those grippers, because I can set the fence up for the lumber I'm using and drop it down. If you have a gripper, you'll know what I mean. And so I leave it there, and so I've got enough of them that I can kind of like look through and grab one that's already preset, and I don't have to drop it down. That's pretty spoiled there, I guess. Does this mean less Woodworking for Mere Mortals videos for non-paying viewers on your channel? Again, that's a good question. No, I'm going to go back to creating videos on my channel. In fact, I hope to actually start producing more videos. Don't hold me to that, just because I want to do more short skills videos, because I think those are fun and important. I'll still be doing project videos too. One of the things I gotta do is redesign my office. And so I want a new desk, everything. I'm gonna take it from the ground up. My idea with the office is to do a completely like uber ergonomic office. So I want a stand sit desk. I want like a walking treadmill. I want to make sure that the monitor is at the right height. I want everything really tricked out on this office. So I think that's going to be a fun project when I get to it. And One Love for Life says, can a circular saw be substituted for a table saw for the builds? I'm just going to say no. I mean, I could probably say, well, yeah, you could, but I don't think you're going to have much fun using that circular saw to make rabbet joints. So yeah, I think you're just going to have, but again, look at my tool list, because if you're here in the US, that rigid saw is pretty inexpensive, brand new for, what is it? It was like $200, something like that, $250. Or pick up some used ones. But I think that it's just gonna look. I was actually considering that when I started this course. It's like, do I want to use the table saw or not? But then I decided, really, that's kind of the heart of woodworking, is a table saw. With the table saw, you can do everything except make curved cuts. But that's why I included the jigsaw also as kind of a required tool. To use a jigsaw, which is really cheap. You can get a jigsaw for $20, $30. Air Weaver Balloons wants to know, if I have a couple handheld belt sanders, should I get a random orbit sander? I would. I rarely use a belt sander because they're just so aggressive. It's really hard to finesse woodworking projects with them. They're good for really removing lots of material at once, but I mean, you can get fine sandpaper for them, and that might help a little bit, but if you like tip them a little bit, you're gonna get a huge gouge in your project, and that is definitely no fun. Random orbit sander is definitely the way to go, and that, again, that's a tool that's pretty inexpensive. I'm pretty sure that Ryobi sander I have is maybe $50. I don't know. I'd have to look at my tool list. And again, my tool list, my recommendations down in the description. There's a link down there. Jazz wants to know the difference between a table saw and a miter saw. That's a good question, because it was funny, because I got a call from a friend of mine who was at Home Depot, and she said, we're trying to get a new table saw. Do you have any you recommend? They're deciding this as they're at the store. And she's reading the stuff to me, and I said, no, you're talking about a miter saw. That's what you're looking at, is a miter saw. So there was definitely confusion there. The miter saw is the kind of saw where the wood remains stationary and the saw blade comes down and cuts the wood. The wood doesn't move. On a table saw, the blade is stationary and you move the wood through it. A table saw is a lot more versatile. There's any cut you can make, just about any cut on a table saw, including bevels and miters and cross cuts, rip cuts, resawing lumber you can do on a table saw. These are all things that we'll be doing in the course. And whereas a miter saw is really good at doing two things: doing cross cuts. Sometimes it's called just a chop saw. So taking a board like this and just cutting it straight across, because it does it so quickly and so efficiently that you can, set up a stop block and go ching, 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 and just cut big chunks of wood, which is a little bit more difficult, actually. I think cross-cutting a board on a table saw is kind of wonky unless you've got a big, long table, like a side table, and then to support the wood, it can be difficult with just that miter gauge. So that's why I recommend a miter saw, is mainly for crosscuts, and of course miters. I mean, that's what it's called, miter. So if you have, miter saw will have a built-in positive stop on the 45-degree mark, and maybe a couple of other commonly used ones, so that, like picture frames, you can just crank them out with a miter saw. But if you're using a miter saw to make miters, you got to really make sure that your miter saw is tuned nicely, that you've got it all set and registered not registered, calibrated. There's the word. I'm getting tired here. Let's see. How many projects will be, oh, this is from HS Danilo. How many projects will be painted purple? All of them. Every project in this course is painted purple, and you have to paint it purple to graduate. No, but I do have a bright blue one, but I gave an option where you can just do a nice finish on it. I know that painted projects aren't to everyone's taste. I recently acquired a lot of Craftsman tools from a house I purchased. Will you be covering maintenance of tools? Not in the course, but that's a great suggestion for like a basics video. I'm gonna keep that in mind. I also had somebody asking me about SketchUp basics, and that's another one I wanna do because I think learning SketchUp is really important to be able to save you time and money in the workshop to just draw out what you're gonna build, figure out the proportions, and then take those plans out to your shop. Because for instance, this coffee table, you know, without these plans, I don't think I could have gotten the proportions right. I could measure out about what I would think a coffee table would look like, and then like this, when I originally did it, I had the legs, they were like 3 inches longer, and I was looking at that, and I'm thinking that just, I don't know, that just doesn't look right. It's the kind of thing that I don't think I would have noticed. It would be a shame to have to notice that at the end of the project after I've built it. So learning SketchUp, I think, is important, and it's not as hard as you think, because mostly SketchUp, at least what I do with it, is pretty much drawing straight square rectangles and putting them together. So I mean, I'm not a power user on it, and those basics aren't too hard to learn. I'm gonna take a couple more questions here because wow, we've already been at this for an hour. Can neon green be a good substitute for bright purple? Yeah, go crazy. I have neon green actually. Well, it's not neon green, but I do have the green cabinet over here. Anyways, you guys excited about Halloween? I'm gonna go see Jigsaw tonight. I've been wanting to see this movie. I don't know, I think the early reviews from people I've heard are not that thrilled with it, but I'm looking forward to it because I like the whole Saw series. But you know what, horror, you know, does anybody want any horror movie recommendations? Go see Mother. It's not really a horror movie, but it'll be controversial. Just by me mentioning Mother, people are going to say how much they hate that movie or they love that movie. It's going to be like my favorite movie of the year by far. So far, it definitely is. But if you want something fun to see for Halloween, see Happy Death Day. That one it's just a ton of fun. It's kind of old school slasher with a twist. It's kind of like Groundhog Day. You know, she keeps getting killed every day, and then and she wakes up again, has to try to figure out who the killer is each day. And I thought that was pretty cool. So anyways, there's a couple recommendations. I usually get a couple of people asking me about this, and usually I do my horror movie recommendations this time of year, and I just didn't have time to do it this year. I should probably, well, now it's kind of too late since Halloween is just a couple days away. I guess that's it for the questions. Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope I answered most of your questions about the course and at least give you a preview of the projects that are going to be in the course and kind of the whole structure of the course, how it works. I really do think it's a great value. I think for $147, you're not going to find a woodworking course even close to that, you know, on the internet that has, well, 7 complete projects that you're going to build, and is also a course that is not expecting you to have a 3,000 square foot shop filled with tools. So it's all super basic simple tools without a lot of space. That was also another concern. That's why I built the BMW first, the basic mobile workbench, because I wanted to recognize that a lot of people are using a shared space, maybe like part of a garage, or maybe they don't even have that. They park a car and then they have to move the car out of the way to be able to work. So I wanted to be able to make some mobile tools and to stress that putting everything on wheels is a great solution for the small shop. And being able to work out in the driveway is kind of cool anyways. I mean, I do it all the time just because I like the fresh air out there, definitely. So those are the basics of the course. I'd love to see you guys join. Don't forget the course, we're closing it on Sunday night, so get in there now and join up. And is there anything else I wanted to say? I think that's about it. Thank you guys. It's been just a huge journey. I don't think I've worked so hard in 4 or 5 months in my entire life as I have this past summer trying to get this course together. But I'm really proud of the product. I think it's pretty good. I think you're gonna like it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you another time.